you mentioned that we're going to be working off from Marsal Pizza Oven. I don't always like to refer to it, no offense, Kevin, as a Marsal Pizza Oven, because I think it's more than that, and hopefully that's what we'll be able to convey today. The oven itself, it serves dual purposes, multi-purposes, more than just cooking pizza. Kevin, if you want to kind of get in there and zoom in, we've got some roasted veg going in there right now. I just threw some meatballs in there while Kevin was introducing everything. The meatballs are done with venison meatballs today. We're kind of high on venison. We've had a lot of it laying around for some particular reason. Some freezers that will stock full right now. To kind of get into the Marsal oven, it's a unique piece of equipment. They have 3 different ovens in the category for Marsal. They start out with an SD, so it's a standard deck oven. Standard deck oven means that it's just your basic oven. You got 2-inch thick bricks, and you have no bricks in the top layer of the oven. So when you look inside of the oven right here, and I'll be able to show you guys up here too, there's no bricks on the inside of the cavity. If you can get in there, Kevin. There you go. That's your standard deck. Standard deck can also come with bricks. You have to order it as an added feature, but for the most part, it is just a standard oven. That oven is going to be used for basically your straight up New York style pizzas, meaning that if you don't have a lot of ingredients on top of the pizza, that's what it's going to be used for. You'll have just kind of pepperoni, maybe 1 or 2 other items. You really don't need those bricks on top. The bricks are used to kind of wick away moisture in a way. It absorbs the moisture out of the pies. It makes it cook a little bit faster. So you start off with the SD, then you go into the MB. MB is your kind of middle of the range, your everyday eating down place oven, your workhorse of the oven. The cool thing about the MB, it comes standard with bricks going on top, 2 inches on top, 2 inches on bottom. Also too, there's air circulator holes that go along the side of the oven inside of it. And the difference is the MB has circular holes, the SD has straight up and down holes. One works like a convection oven and moves air around. The MB kind of circulates the air throughout the oven cavity, works sort of like a convection oven. And then you get this bad image hammer right here. This is the Wave. If you're looking it up in auto quotes or anything, it is called the WF series. This is a 42, it can go up to a 60, I believe. This is when you're going to be using doing your Neapolitan style pizzas, your 3 minutes, 4 minute style pizzas. You're going to turn them 90 degrees, and you're going to start in the very back, and you're going to work all the way around. We're going to do one today. Hopefully it turns out pretty good. But that's what this particular oven is used for. Standard on the oven. All the burners, all the tube systems are built very, very unique. So the way these ovens are built, the tube system, and if you're looking from top, like if I'm looking down on the top of the oven all the way down, it's built in a ladder pattern, so it looks like an H. You have one tube this way, one tube this way, the tube this way, and the tube this way. The reason they built the ovens like this is to kind of, it's no guarantee, but it's a lot of times you do not have to rotate your pies in the oven. And I'm going to kind of show you, I'm going to let Nick get in here. We're going to kind of cook a pizza together, and I'll show you that on some of the other ovens that are out there on the market, their tube pattern are built kind of in a U, meaning that you have to turn the pizzas a little bit during the process. So you need a little bit more skill. The MB, SD, really no skill involved. I mean, you can hire somebody on a Friday. You can start moving the pies, making the pies, throwing them in there. That individual can be taking the pies out, and you can have somebody working that night for service. So that's kind of the cool thing about the Marsal ovens. Again, all of them are standard with the tube pattern. All of them are standard with the 2-inch thick bricks. Best cooking temperature in the oven, 525 degrees is probably the best cooking set point for this oven. I'm cooking meatballs in there right now. I'm cooking veg. I'm leaving it at 525 degrees. So the cool thing about the oven is that it's more than just cooking pies in there. If you're kind of on a budget, or you're kind of looking to see how you can outfit your kitchen, but you're limited on space, but you know you're going to do pies, great. All right, well, I need to do prep work too. Cool, totally forget about it with the Marsal oven, and you can put all your prep in the oven, roast my vegetables, for my farmer's plates, for my pizzas, for whatever I need, me meatballs. If I want to roast a leg of lamb in there overnight, absolutely, totally do it. Kick the oven down to 300 degrees, put the lamb in there, shut your door, let it go overnight. By the time you come in the morning, it's perfect. It serves more purposes than going, all right, man, I don't know if I can fit a convection oven there. I don't know if I can fit a standard oven in there. You can kind of knock it out all with a Marsal oven. One other feature is that the Wave, if you decide you want to go with a Wave, it has to be set on top of an MB, or it has to be set by itself. It does not cannot put this on top of an SD. It only comes standard on the MB or standalone by itself. This is probably the oven you'd have outside the customer, out in front of the customer, when you're working in front of them. You can put tile on it, do it in mosaic tile, however you want. It does come standard with 4 different tiles though. But let's get to cooking. So today we're gonna do a couple things. Like I said, I've got some vegetables roasting in the oven right now. I've got some meatballs in there right now. I'm gonna throw some chicken wings in there. I'm gonna kind of put those, I'm gonna slide those right in the top. And I'm gonna set them all the way over in the left-hand side. The way the wave works is you have a heat source coming from your right-hand side that flows up. It flows across the top of the oven. And you have a heat source on the bottom of the oven as well. So you have to, in order to control that, manual control right here. There's no temperature gauge on this one, only because you're trying to balance the temperature out from the top and the bottom. So you kind of got to get a gauge for where you need to set it right here. And then you have your adjustable flame right here. That's all you're doing. It's as easy as that. I try to keep it around 625 on the bottom. So I've got 525 down here. I kind of keep it at 625, maybe 725 on top. Goes all the way up to 900 degrees, but for what I do, I kind of keep it around this. So, chicken wings, straight up chicken wings, right on a pan. All I did yesterday, as I par cooked them yesterday, and then for today, all we're gonna do is we're gonna hit them with a little bit of sauce. Frank's hot sauce, garlic, a little bit of honey. I took a little bit of the chicken juice that was in here from yesterday, mounted in the sauce with a little clarified butter, and that's all we're doing. So you're gonna throw a little bit on top. Get that baked in. Then we're gonna throw the wings right in the oven. So we're gonna set it right in here. Just throw them right in the back, let those cook for a little bit. Well, that's cooking. Check our vegetables. The vegetables have been cooking. I set those in there a little bit ahead of time. So as you can see, probably got another 2 or 3 minutes left on them. We're letting some of that moisture get absorbed, so when the vegetables come out, they're not as porous. So the moisture on top, like I said before, the moisture on top, or the bricks on top, are absorbing some of that moisture. In the convection oven, sometimes you still have a little bit of that moisture left in the bottom of the pan, but for this sake, it's absorbing that moisture coming off the top. The meatballs, you're probably going to be about 15 or 16 minutes. We did about 2-ounce meatballs in here, so they're probably going to take about 15 minutes. So they'll be coming out as by the time we're going to make some more pies. So we'll let those go. Kevin, you want to get in here real quick? Can you get in here? The wings are already starting. You can already hear them kind of crisping up and everything.
Looking good.
All right.
See down here real quick.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
I've got there's a little splatter right there from a little bit of fat sauce flavor.
Looks good.
All right, cool. So with that being said, we'll kind of get some dough ready. The way I kind of do the dough for this one, you can do 2 different style doughs if you want to, or you can just do one straight up dough. I only did one dough for today. The way I do it is I use a little bit finer milled flour because a lot of the customers that come into the kitchen, they want to do Neapolitan style pies. So I use a double O flour, which means it's milled extremely fine. It can be called Caputo flour. In most cases, you use it for pasta traditionally, but I use it for making dough in here because it's a little bit lighter. It's a little bit easier to work with. Sometimes, depending on how you proof it, it can stretch. It stretches super easy. You don't need a degree in doing pizzas to kind of figure it out. If you're looking to do that Neapolitan style, what I'd recommend is you kind of do more of a bread flour dough. Bread flour is not milled as heavy or not milled as fine, so the dough's a little bit hardier, and you can get that more New York style pizza in this one right here. So, let's see here. Yeah. All right. So, super fine, super light right here.
Hey, what kind of mixer did you use for that dough?
I used it by hand, man. There's a possibility I might have loaned the mixer out to an end user kind of before March 11th, so they've still had it. I came in here and I said, hey, we're gonna use the Marsal this week. Forgot I didn't have a mixer, so I figured out how to make dough by hand. I kind of went a little old school. I gotta be honest, it was a whole lot of fun doing it. So it takes a little bit of work, a little bit of elbow grease, but I think the end result was great. I kind of manipulated the dough recipe a little bit this week, so it was, I don't know, it was kind of fun. So I like teaching myself new things every now and then. All right, so I'm not trained on doing pizzas or anything like that, but we're gonna do a nice pie today. So I just kind of, the dough, like I said, super soft. I pulled the dough at about, I think I pulled the dough about 130 today and kind of let it temp out. I used the heat from the oven a little bit to kind of work the dough, or to kind of have the dough kind of relax a little bit. All right, but that's it. Take the dough, all you see is just moving it around a little bit. Put down here. This, This is a 9-ounce dough ball. That's kind of what I kind of stick to. The reason is because it makes about a 12-inch pie. It's really good for Neapolitan style, so that 12 to 10-inch style pie. We're burning stuff. We're good. Cool. All right. That's it. Wings are done. A little char on top. All you're gonna do is we're gonna hit them a little more salt. So that's it. You can toss the wings around if you need to a little bit, but when you're picking them up for service, this is it right here. I mean, I've got that oven probably overall average temp of that oven about 700 degrees, so it does not take much at all to kind of get these done. Like I said, you want to throw some onions on there, you want to do, kind of add a couple different items there, absolutely, add them to it, garnish it up however you want, see fit. But for the most part, man, these do not take long at all. So you're in the middle of service, you're picking up an order of wings, no need to drop in the fryer, straight throw in your Marsal oven, don't move to the left-hand side where you're not doing a lot of your pizzas, and just let them move. Cool, so that's it. Wings are done. So we'll check these. All right, veg is almost done. By the time we throw the pizza in, we'll be able to do the veg. All right, so Neapolitan style pizza, straight up. I use Alta Cucina tomatoes. Alta Cucinas are whole plum tomatoes, and all they are is just peeled. And then I just crush them up by hand, throw a little fresh basil in there, and we just spread it around the dough. Super simple, super easy. I'm not a traditionalist, so if you guys dogging me a little bit, it's totally fine. We're good. Fresh mozz. Then we'll hit it with a little fresh olive oil, and we'll be good to go.
Simple's good.
Yeah, especially with this oven. You let this oven do the work, man. Just take a couple good ingredients, then we're good to go. All right. Pinch the sides. Make sure you got enough air in there. See how it's kind of moving around a little bit? That's what you want. So when we go off, we're going to go right in the back corner on the right-hand side. All right, cool. So with the next pizza, we're going to let that go for, like I said, about, I don't know, maybe 90 seconds. What you're going to notice with that pie is it's going to rise up a little bit. That dough is starting to form, and it's starting to form the layer between the deck and between the dough itself to where you're going to be able to move that pizza around. If you try to move it around right now, it's going to stick. Dough is still a little bit cold, so it's not going to move properly. That's done. So, I worked in Charleston for quite a few years, and we fortunate enough that we had a lot of farmers that were close to us and close to our operation. So the cool thing is we used to do this on a regular basis, man. We take our vegetables out, roast them off in the oven, and we use these for our farmer boards. So if you got a little piece of charcuterie, or you got a little charcuterie going on, roasted vegetables, charcuterie board together, or what you can do is, take an arugula salad, get a little arugula from the garden, or, bib lettuce or whatever you're looking at. Take that, chop it up with the vegetables, toss it all together, a little chev, fresh olive oil, a little bit of fresh vinegar, or, white balsamic, or white wine vinegar, and you got a simple salad for the summer. All right, I'm just gonna rotate these around a little bit. All right, cool. So now we're at the point now where if you see that these start to rise a little bit, cool. So I've kind of moved it. All right, I'll be able to rotate it. The way I'm going to rotate this is I'm going to rotate it up to the front. I'm going to kind of grab it by the edges, and I'm just going to start pulling it to the front. So when that happens is I'm moving it up to the front, and I'm going to let it rest kind of right here for about 15 seconds. Then I'm going to take it out, and I'll put it on my platter. That's being done. We're going to pull out another dough ball. Let's see here. Yeah, we use this one. This one's got a little air going on here. Right. So always throw a little flour down on your board so it doesn't stay. You don't want too much because what happens is your dough can burn. If you use too much flour on the bottom of it, the dough can have a tendency of burning when you put it on the oven itself. There we go. So that's it. I mean, for Neapolitan style pizza, you're looking at probably 3 to 4 minutes. Like I said, I probably got it set at, gives you an idea of what your lower temperature is here and what your upper temperature is here. So this one's sitting at like 625, 650, 750. We're going a little bit hot, but I mean, if you have the ability to control it and you're pretty capable of taking care of the bottom and the top at the same time, you should have no problem with it. So while that's going, we're going to kind of make a little bit different one this time. Nick, get in here. Come here.
Okay.
All right. Here, I'm gonna make this pie. Can you bring me over a piece of squash, piece of zucchini real quick, bro?
One of each.
If you don't mind.
They're hot.
Okay, okay, so use that, set them right there. Thanks, bud. All right, that's good. Cool, that's it.
He's not a trained chef, but he did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
You're talking about me? That's it, though. That's straight up, that's a Neapolitan style pizza. You start to get the char on the exterior of it a little bit. The reason you're getting that right there, it's coming from the heat of the bricks on top and the heat of the bricks on the on top and the bottom. So you're getting that caramelization from the cheese and everything. It works real well if you use whole milk mozzarella. It seems to work really, really well. That's what we're using today. Cool. So now we're gonna make a different style pie right now. So we're gonna make kind of a vegetable pie. So our ingredients are a little warm, and I'm gonna show you the trick on the bottom. All right. Done deal. All right. So we're just gonna take this one's gonna be a little bit different. We're gonna take some ricotta. So ricotta, super simple. We're taking a little ricotta, and all I did was I took a little bit of herbs, oregano, thyme, basil, parsley, garlic, Parmesan cheese. Threw a little bit of that, mixed it up, black pepper and salt. And then we're just gonna cook this one down to the bottom. So this is more of like your kind of farmer style that you would find, you know, everything in the garden. There you go. Take some of our veg, throw it on there. Right. I'm gonna hit it with just a little bit of cheese on top. We're gonna throw a little bit of fresh basil when it comes out. But that's it, man. We just keep them super simple. Throw your carrots on there, tomatoes, whatever you want. All right, so let's pop it a little bit. And the reason we're doing this is we're getting a little bit of air underneath there, so when we throw it in the oven, it's not gonna stick. Let's check those meatballs. Let's pop those out. Look at that. All right, we'll set these off to the side. We'll check the temp. Right. So that's going out. Again, the oven is built that ladder pattern so that your flames, like I said, they're built like a ladder. You don't have to rotate the pie. You just kind of let it do its thing. I know, you know, Nick, you're going to keep an eye on this pie for me. So, what's going to happen is you're going to want to open the oven. You're going to want to check it. You know, there are other ovens out there that you have to do that. After a minute or 2 minutes, once it gets set, you've got to move it. This one, we're going to let it go. You know, we're just going to let it do its thing and see what happens. So, make sure everything's good. Perfect. All right, 185 degrees. So we took our meatballs a little bit more, but nonetheless, you know, those were in there for 15 minutes tops.
Right.
I mean, it was pretty straightforward, but like I said, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You could be doing meatballs. You could be roasting sausage in there. You could be doing, you know, your pies. Obviously, your pies in there. Roasting vegetables, roasting your meat. It doesn't really matter what you're doing. The oven is a great tool to have in the kitchen. I mean, like I said, I don't really call it a pizza oven too much. I just kind of call it, you know, I just kind of call it the Marsal Oven.
So good for prep.
Yeah.
Good for in-service work. Good for pretty much anything.
Yeah. So take it a step further. Let's say you're doing fish. Let's say you've got, you know, fish special on the menu. Got some roasted potatoes going with it. You've got anything like that. All I do is I take it in a cast iron pan. I have a couple cast iron pans sitting kind of right on the edge right here. I can sear my fish in there. Throw some olive oil in the cast iron pan, let it sear my fish, pull it out, throw my potatoes in there, any kind of veg if I want a one pot wonder or anything like that. I can have everything sitting right here. It's plenty hot to pick up during service. Your meatballs, for example. You gotta order meatballs, you're throwing mozzarella, you're throwing hot sauce on them. You put your meatballs in a little casserole dish, throw them right in there, or throw them down the bottom.
Right.
I mean, this is, again, now we just alleviated, and I hate to say this, but we just alleviated 6 burner range, we just alleviated a convection oven, and we've got it set up of one oven in general right here. The MB, you can double stack. The Wave, you can only single stack it because of the way it's built. And SD, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to say this if I'm not correct, but I think you can now triple stack them. I'm almost positive you can go back to triple stacking them. But again, you can do a 7-inch door, 10-inch door, whatever the needs are. Let's see, check that out. We're doing good. Cool. I know that's your job. So, you asked the question, cleaning. How easy is it to clean during service? You get a little bit of char on the bottom. You get a little bit of your flour that's kind of built up on the bottom. Simple solution. deck brush. All you're doing is scrape it down. You just get a little bit of that soilness off there in the char. I take that, excuse me, D. Throw a damp towel, okay? You don't want this to sit on the bricks, but you want to kind of just move it around real quick to see a little bit of steam. All right. That's it. Cool.
It's like at the Japanese restaurants.
So the hibachi action going on.
Yeah, you get the gravy.
There you go. So we just kind of keep it up the side. You can kind of hang it out if you want to. But again, downtime. When you order the oven, it takes about, go ahead and check Nick if you want to. I know you're anxious. How are we doing?
No.
Okay. Hey, no. All right. Setup for the oven is pretty simple, man. When you get the oven in, it literally takes about 4 hours to cure. The great thing about Marsal is you can have it in, have it set up at 10 a.m., and then you can have it go, and you can kind of be ready to rock and roll by dinner service. 100 degrees for an hour. Another 100 degrees for an hour. So now you're 200, 300, 400 every single hour. Let it rip, tater chip. Now you're up at 525 degrees. You're cooking by service at 6 o'clock. You're ripping through pies the day you get it set up in the oven, or the day you get it set up in your restaurant. Cool, so while that's cooking, we'll let that go. Cocktail hour. So
Oh yeah.
it's Friday. We enjoy the frostier beverage after 5 o'clock, we'll say, at Eat Marketing. So today we're doing something a little bit different. I love Moscow mules. It's super simple. You can keep looking at it if you want to, man. Don't be afraid. He's really anxious. He's like, I don't have to talk. Do as I do. Stop. Just, you're cool. Just do your thing.
Hey, sometimes it's before 5 o'clock too. Don't worry.
So, instead of doing a traditional Moscow Mule, man, I'm a big bourbon fan, as I know probably most people are out there. We're gonna do a rip on that. We're gonna call it the Kentucky Mule. I didn't name it; it's already been named, but we're gonna call it the Kentucky Mule. So, handy dandy Woodford that we always have on hand here. Ice in a glass. Thank you, Kelsey. So what we're gonna do is ounce and a half. So fiber and one. And because it's Friday, and we've all been homeschooling for the week in the past 4 weeks. So what we'll do is I'm gonna take a little lime right now, instead of right at the end. Take a little lime in there. All right, off to the side. And then ginger beer. Really any kind of ginger beer that you want, doesn't really matter. If you don't like something so sweet, maybe you can go with a diet ginger beer, but right now we're just gonna use the regular Gosling's ginger beer. Right. So we just kind of top it off with the ginger beer. So roughly, you're looking at about 6 ounces. Give it a little mix. We've already put a lime juice in there. Carbonation action going on. And we're gonna garnish it. How's it doing, Nick?
Yeah, no.
No, not right now. All right. Straight up 5 o'clock hour cocktail. But you've had the kids all week. You don't want to exclude them from everything. So for kind of a faux cocktail for the kids, only put about a ½ ounce of bourbon in there. So we're straight. No, but in all seriousness, you've already got the ingredients here to make a cocktail for the kids and everything like that. Make it fun. You want to include them. So all I do is take the remaining ginger ale. If my wife's having something a little bit different. Ginger ale.
Ginger beer.
Ginger beer. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it. 12-year-old's gonna keep me on track. The lime. All right. And then we're gonna go real fancy on this. We're gonna put some mint in there. Take the mint, I just crush it up a little bit. That's with any herbs. I crush it up a little bit, and the reason is because it opens up the oils. It opens up the oils in the herbs. Same thing, if you're using basil, using anything like that, take it, rub it in your hands a little bit, chop it up, you'll get a little bit more full flavor when you're cooking. And the reason is, like I said, it brings out the oils and everything like that. How are we doing, bud?
2 more minutes.
2 more minutes, all right. We're good. So again, as you can see, there's no sticking whatsoever. I don't have to move it. I want it to do its thing.
What's the difference between crushing mint and smacking it?
That might be for another day. Now, all you're doing really, you can put it in a muddler. You can crush the mint down if you want to. You spin it out if you want to. If you don't want to use your hands, I know we're all being a little cautious these days and everything like that. So, and I totally understand. But if you got a muddler, like a pestle or anything, take it, just crush the mint down there. Let those oils open up and everything like that for when you go to use it. Another trick, what I did too is I roasted off carrots, but I like to buy the stem on carrots. I like to get it with the green, furlies, everything that's on top of it. And the reason is I like to do that is because I like to make pesto with them. Sometimes those carrot stems, they go to waste. So what I like to do is I like to cut them off before I roast my carrots. You can take it out if you want to, dude.
Well, I don't know how to do that.
Figure it out. Watch it. Here.
Which one is it?
Take this. All right, take it. Hold it. You're doing this, man. You're driving this car, man. I'm along for the ride.
I'm not 16.
All right, there you go. Take it out.
So,
Just hang on to it. All right. Set it right there.
right there.
No. Jesus, man. This kid's not gonna make it. Look at man.
But then again, you made it.
I did.
Boom, done.
Look, check it out, man. The oven is as easy as that, man. Kids can do it.
I like it.
That's how this oven is
There you
totally
go, Nick.
awesome in your operation.
Yeah.
That's the right one.
There
right
you go,
there.
chef.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. On a side note, man, thanks, Kevin. I appreciate it. On a side note, I just want to let everybody know, listen, if you guys got questions or concerns about anything, you guys need help, questions about equipment, questions about, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter, man. We're here for you. So if you have any questions, go on to Eaton Marketing, eaton-marketing.com, and hit us up. All of us sales reps, inside, outside sales reps are there, including Kevin, Randy. So if you guys need anything, man, and you're out there and you got questions or concerns about anything, man, don't hesitate to hit us up. Let us know. We're there for you guys, man.
I got a question.
Thanks again. Happy Friday. And hopefully kids go back to school soon.
Yeah. Look at all this good food.
I like food.
Great job, chef.
Thanks, man. I appreciate
Great job,
it.
Nick.
Thanks.
Cheers.